6 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. And afternoons just got real. Real people, real talk, real issues, real solutions. Be sure to check out Ariva Martin in real time on your way home weekday afternoons from 4 to 6. Turning up the frequency all Black History Month long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
Hi, this is Tavis.
Tavis, this is Dr. Kane. We've got a lot to talk about. I'll be in town on the 28th of February. Can you clear your calendar?
Absolutely, Dr. King. Good Lord, do I have some questions for you, sir. Hi, it's Tavis.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother. This is Minister Malcolm. Now, I heard that you and Martin are getting together for a public dialogue on February 28th. You see, now I already know the date. Now, I know y'all not trying to keep me out of that conversation, are you?
No, sir. No, sir.
What happened to George Floyd shouldn't happen, not even to a dog. How long must the Negro continue to endure this foolishness at the hands of law enforcement? People can take but so much before they reach a breaking point. What do you mean, Black Lives Matter? Black lives haven't mattered in this country since Negroes stopped working for free at the end of slavery. You ought to be talking about Black Guns Matter and start your own NRA. Call it the Negro Revolutionary Amalgamation.
Don't miss this compelling historic radio event, The Return. When Tavis Smiley converses with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Tuesday, February 28th, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7 years. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. First. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tavis Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing every single day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And go time. It's go time. It's Monday. Hour 1, we do local. Hour 2, we do national and beyond. Hour 3, a deep dive with a person or persons of interest, or we focus on a topic. Topics of interest. Today, we're going to look at what is a safe space. We'll be talking with Capri Maddox, who is the leader of the LA Department of Civil Rights. And, of course, you're welcome in every hour of the conversation, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And if you want to see my Monday morning face, go to youtube.com and then put in KBLA 1580, because we're streaming every day now. Me, Tavis, Miles, we're streaming every single day on the radio right now. And a lot is going on, as usual. Over the weekend would have been the birthday of Trayvon Martin, so lots of commemorations going on around the country. And the Grammy Awards had Twitter and all the other platforms buzzing. And as usual, we're covering what's going on inside and outside of City Hall on these streets. Joining me this morning for Hour 1, my partner in politics for the day. He's the founder, Fannie Lou Hamer Institute in Los Angeles, also a lead organizer for Black Lives Matter LA, and a long time I don't know how to say political organizer. How about that? Political operative. That sounds nefarious. I'm talking about Akili. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, and thank you for having me on. And good morning to the KBLA family.
This morning you are a Florida man, right? You're on the other side of the country.
Yes, I am. I'm in Miami, Florida, which is where I came from, quite frankly. I have cousins here. My mother.
Didn't know that. You're from Florida?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
That
Yes,
explains a lot, Akili. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, so I'm here because this does represent the 11th commemoration of the death, the murder of Trayvon Martin. He would have been 28 years old today, and there's an annual event that the Trayvon Martin Foundation does, along with the family, to recognize and remember what happened. And they started the Trayvon Martin Foundation to fund worthwhile causes. And so we have a BLM delegation back here because Black Lives Matter is connected to the murder of Trayvon Martin. It was the verdict that sparked and was the catalyst for the discussion and the phrase between Opal Tometi and Alicia Garza and Patrisse Cullors, Black Lives Matters. And that statement is now a movement.
Yeah. And how do they commemorate it? Obviously, I've never been to Florida on this anniversary, this event that the family does. But it is true. I mean, Trayvon Martin, people speak on George Floyd, and of course his murder opened a lot of eyes. But Trayvon Martin's death, even though George Zimmerman is technically not a police officer, it's more of a wannabe, it really set off this modern era of resistance, this modern era of reimagining what law enforcement is supposed to look like.
Well, and triggered the theme and central focus of Black Lives Matter, ending state-sanctioned violence. But it was Zimmerman, who, like you said, was a wannabe police, that murdered him. But then the whole system failed, or rather, it acts like it functioned like it set up to function by finding Zimmerman not guilty and acquitting him. When Trayvon Martin had done nothing wrong, he happened to be in a community on his way back to visit his father. He had some Arizona iced tea and a bag of Skittles, and had done nothing wrong. And this wannabe cop approaches him, and then it escalates, and Trayvon Martin is killed. But it's a part of the ongoing Black death. I mean, so Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Keenan Anderson, Tyreek Nichols. I mean, we can go on about that. It's just too high a price to pay for any people to survive in a society.
Yeah, just to exist. One of the things that always triggered me about Trayvon Martin, aside from the fact that he was a child, and as a mom, it just makes everything bad, is the fact that they had said during that trial that the sidewalk was a weapon. And so what that means is that any Black person, can be accused of having a weapon, a deadly weapon, because in our hands, a sidewalk is a weapon, something that I had never heard of before in anyone else's trials.
Well, and I think it underscores. Well, first of all, there's a policy about stand your ground, but it also underscores
of course,
how Black people are seen in this society. We are seen as a threat. We are seen as dangerous. We are seen as criminal. We're not seen as human. We're not seen at first as human beings. And the fact that even after Zimmerman murdered Trayvon Martin, it took public pressure to get Zimmerman arrested. He made a report the police let him go after the report was made, and they almost were not going to file any charges under this so-called stand your ground policy. So I mean, that's the kind of position and policy that Black Lives Matter is attacking and wants to eliminate. It's those kinds of public policy positions that allows a Zimmerman to kill a black child and almost no process to hold him accountable. And the fact that the attorney used the sidewalk as a weapon, I think underscores the absurdity of both the public policy position, but the attitudes that exist in society when it comes to black people and black death.
And so, what happens next there where you are?
Well, we're leaving out. They have a 2-day commemoration. First, they have a march and rally. There's a street in Miami named after Trayvon Martin, and so they have a march and rally at a nearby park, and they have speakers from around the country who come there and who remind people about the meaning, value, and impact of Trayvon Martin and his murder and what they can do. And then the next evening, they have an awards program where they recognize, prominent black folks who have contributed to improving conditions for black people. Roland Martin was acknowledged, and April
Rain.
April Banks, the CNN reporter.
Okay.
Yeah, who reported from the White House. He used to report from the White House.
Oh, yeah,
April Ryan.
Ryan, yeah.
Yes, April Ryan was acknowledged.
Okay.
Those were two. And they both talked about the black press and how meaningful and valuable the black press is. And they both talked about how it was the black press that got hold of this story and kept hold to it and kept pushing it that made it more nationally and publicly known, because it would have dropped off. It would have happened, and none of us.
Well, it never would have been national news. I mean, it was definitely. I remember clearly with the case of Trayvon Martin, it was the local black press outlets that wouldn't stop, and finally the CNNs of the world picked up on it and ran with it. But it reminded me very much of the case with the Jena 6. It was us. And that's why I always say we the people are the news desk. It's not we shouldn't always be guided by the 24-hour news cycle of the mainstream media. We have to be the drumbeat of our own community. And I think in many cases the black press, the under-resourced black press, does an amazing job of that. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, I want to, when we come forward, want to talk about the latest on Takar Smith and this granddad, the family of granddad in Maywood, who says the sheriff killed their grandfather. And we've got more local stuff to unpack with Akili. I'd love to get his insights and yours as well. 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580. We're unapologetically progressive.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima. You may think it's too early, but tax season is now. Whether you're filing individual or business taxes, there are benefits to filing your taxes. You could qualify for loans and grants, improve your credit profile, and get into compliance with the IRS. Who files early gets refunded early. And there are lots of legit ways to boost your tax refund in 2023. The tax professionals at Wealth Management Financial Advisors will find every credit and deduction you deserve so you get your largest possible refund. I'm not kidding. You could double your refund just by filing at Wealth Management Financial Advisors. Big chain tax filing companies use a one-size-fits-all formula that leaves money on the table. Don't wait until recession or procrastination take a bite out of your budget. Book an appointment now at wealthmanagementlb.com or by calling 562-427-8877. That's 562-427-8877. Visit wealthmanagementlb.com.
At Cedar-Sinai, we're honored to be named the #1 hospital in California and the #2 hospital in the nation in U.S. News and World Report's Best Hospitals Honor Roll. We're also proud to be named #1 in 6 specialties in Los Angeles. Thank you to our physicians, nurses, academic leaders, and thousands of other team members who bring their best to Cedars-Sinai every day. Learn more about our top-ranked care at cedars-sinai.org.
Dancing crew, trip for 2, nailed the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Before new Cascade Platinum Plus, I would pre-rinse all my dishes because my old detergent just wouldn't get them clean. But now, I do dishes differently. A no pre-wash, no rewash, money-back guaranteed kind of different. Because Cascade Platinum Plus has double the grease-fighting power of Dawn built right in, with twice the scrubbing power, giving me a clean that lets me break all the dish rules. I just scrape, load, and I'm done. Yep, so clean. With Cascade Platinum Plus, I dare to dish differently.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, Dominique DiPrima is with Akili of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute and BLMLA, and he is live from his home state of Florida, even though we've now adopted you in California. Akili, the funeral for Takar Smith also took place this Saturday, or a memorial for him. Excuse me. Obviously, Takar Smith, one of the 4 people that were killed by LAPD in the early days of this year. And the family's saying they want the police prosecuted.
And that is a common demand, because the police escalate before they de-escalate. Even though they said they have this policy for many years about de-escalation, they never use it. And when it comes to us, it's always the control and suppress. They are trained to control and suppress, control any dangers and suppress any threats. Well, if they see us as a threat and a danger, their first response is how to control it and how to suppress it. And then that we wind up dead. And so, that's why the families have often called for the prosecution of the police. And that's why Jackie Lacey is not in office, because she rarely even, she didn't do it, and people wanted to see real change. And I think that what the families are all saying is that what they want is accountability. What they want is a form of justice for themselves, and that means some accountability for the police, and that a form of accountability is prosecution.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not the first time they've called for the officers to be in jail. That's what they're saying. But again, finally, this young man is laid to rest. I think I misspoke. It's 3 people that the LAPD has killed so far. I'm mixing them up with the sheriff's department, which was at 4, but now is at 5. So it's terrible that it's that hard to keep track of, because so many folks are being killed here in California by law enforcement. It is, as the family said, there was just no reason for them to shoot and kill. And one of the things that you pointed out about de-escalation, this is one of the things that I found shameful about the response of the Los Angeles Police Union to these killings. They said that the officers de-escalated, and it was the victims who escalated. Well, first of all, the police officers are the ones that are trained to de-escalate. They are the professionals. And if by de-escalate you mean kill, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that letter that the police protective league sent out was a classic example of blame the victim. They had these fact versus myth And they talked about the facts, but it all led to blaming the victim. If the victim hadn't done this, if the victim hadn't done that, if the victim had just followed commands and all the rest of that, those are tried tropes that they have been using for years, and the people are no longer willing to accept. The families are no longer willing to accept that, and the people are no longer willing to accept that. That's why we have a weekly protest against the PPL, because of the way that they're willing to, cover and support killer cops without question, without saying, well, this was not, right. And the other thing that we are struggling with, and I think that this is a part of this, right now, all of the efforts, all of the process is in favor of the police, not in favor of the people, not in favor of the families or the victims. And so the police have a lengthy investigation process. They have tiers of ways that they can not be held accountable, and that continues to leave the impression with the general public that, one, you can't trust the police; two, they're not going to be held accountable; and three, that they can kill us without immunity. I mean, they can without impunity, rather.
Yeah.
And it's borderline. And one of the things we have to really struggle against, it's borderline becoming. We become desensitized to it almost.
Yeah. Well,
so that's why we need to protest.
I mean, honestly, I'm not desensitized. I can't watch the videos. I know it's partly my job, so I'll watch it once, and then I'll read about it. I can't have that playing over and over again in my head. Miguel Lopez was killed by the LA County Sheriff's Department January 26th. His family is from Maywood, and they are saying, this is a granddad. They are saying that they are going to file a wrongful death suit. They say the Luz Lopez, that's the man's name, is getting ready Luz Lopez is the wife, I guess, was getting ready for work. Sheriffs came into their home at 5:30 in the morning to serve a search warrant. And apparently there's a search warrant that allows them to come that early in the morning, which is usually for really dangerous criminals, supposedly. But if someone starts knocking on my window at 5:30 in the morning, I'm not going to assume it's police. They said that they were investigating something that happened in October of last year and showed up at 5:30 in the morning looking for a computer. And she said, look, she saw three guys trying to cut the lock off her place. They'd never identified themselves as cops. And when Lopez came to the door with a gun, which if people are trying to break into my house at 5:30 in the morning and I have one, I will be bringing it with me as well. According to the Sheriff's Department, they tried to de-escalate, but that's what they always say.
That becomes the cover. But if you approach people with the intent of, it's the control and suppress.
I mean, you have to announce yourself. You can't. If you come cutting my lock and you don't say sheriffs or police, just like Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, yes, I will shoot you. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do. And as a citizen of this country, whether you like it or not, that is our right. So you can't just come up in my house and then shoot me because I'm trying to defend, my home and family.
Well, the other thing that de-escalation would call for is serving this warrant or this traffic stop more important or more valuable than stepping back, stepping away, and really de-escalating the situation. And that's what they don't do. Is serving a warrant that important that you got to, confront somebody with guns and do all the rest of that? Is a traffic stop that important where you beat somebody or tase somebody? I mean, at some point, de-escalation starts with stepping back and making a decision about what's important and what's valuable. And if it's, and they wrap this in all kind of procedures, but if it's not life-threatening, if it's not life it's not critical, step back.
I mean,
You
that's
can
how I
always
feel
serve
about
a
those
warrant.
car chases, right? When the sheriffs or the
Yeah.
police are chasing people through the community and there's, injuries and deaths and car crashes, it doesn't make sense to me. You have a helicopter, follow them until they run out of gas. Like, why are you endangering people in the community? You can track them down. Why do you have to get all amped up? To me, that should be illegal, and it's a similar thing here. They say that Mr. Lopez had the gun pointed at the ceiling when he opened the door, and when he realized it was the cops, he lowered the gun to put it down, and that's when they blasted him.
Yep. And there is always, because there are over 400,000 guns in the society, there's always the perception that we have guns or will have access to guns, or in the case of the car, a knife. And we interpret that as a weapon, that kind of thing. But once again, how does it impact what you're doing if you step back? If people are having anxieties or concerned or fearful, step back. You're serving a warrant. You ain't, you're not, or this is a traffic stop.
Right. You're not saving the world from nuclear
police.
warfare. Somebody might get away with having a busted traffic light, or maybe they're jaywalking in the case of Michael Brown. I never understand that in terms of the proportionality. It's not, because to me it's not just de-escalation, it's also proportionality in how does this relate to, the proportionality of the response. How does it relate to the consequences that are elicited from that response? And it's something that I just can't wrap my mind around, really.
President Anderson did not deserve to be tased that many times. I mean, the equivalent to electrocuting him behind a traffic stop. I mean, and that's what I mean, that the police, they don't engage us. I mean, first of all, they don't engage us as humans, as regular citizens. They see us as threats. They see us as a danger, and then they step it up, as opposed to stepping back, as opposed to saying, "Okay, fine, let's
the clock.
Move away."
Akili, we got news and traffic right here. Then we're going to continue this conversation. You know where you are. You're at KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Good morning, I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the decision to shoot down a Chinese surveillance balloon required the balancing of several risks. Here's Trey Thomas.
Appearing on CNN's State of the Union, the Transportation Secretary explained that despite Biden's order on Wednesday to take out the balloon, it was delayed due to the chance of debris falling in American airspace.
The president called for this to be dealt with in a way that balanced all of the different risks.
Buttigieg says Saturday's mission was all about minimizing the risk to life and property on the ground. I'm Trey Thomas.
Vice President Kamala Harris is visiting St. Cloud, Minnesota this week. She'll be in the area to highlight electric vehicle usage. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The rumors were true. The Lakers and Clippers were involved in trade talks with the Brooklyn Nets for Kyrie Irving, but the Nets were more impressed with the offer from the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs offered 2 veteran starters, guard Dorian Finney-Smith and forward Spencer Dinwiddie, as well as a future first-round pick and 2 future second-round picks. The Lakers offered Russell Westbrook first-round picks in 2027 and 2029 and reserve players Austin Reeves and Max Christie. The Clippers offered reserves Luke Kennard and Terrence Mann and 3 future first-round picks. The Lakers and Clippers were unwilling to give up any starters for Irving, an 8-time All-Star but a player who brings a lot of baggage. The NBA trade deadline is Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. Stay with us for more news, opinions, and conversation on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
This is Aaron at Original Taco Peach. Let us cater your Super Bowl party and future event. Call 323-348-4441 and visit us at 3272 West Slauson off Crenshaw.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Fred Hines was an African-American blacksmith when he started at LADWP in 1968. After a long 30-year career of public service, he enjoyed the fruits of his labor in retirement. Today, Utility Executive Secretary LaTanya Bogan serves as the Retirement Board President, overseeing the retirement funds for more than 20,000 LADWP employees and retirees. She promotes the financial security of LADWP employees and their families. As LADWP celebrates Black History Month, they proudly highlight the excellent work and exemplary leadership of Black employees who work hard to serve you. Visit them online at joinladwp.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You'll never believe how much I do appreciate you. Akili is with me from the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute and BLMLA. Of course, we've got the phones lit up this morning, Akili, so I want to go straight to the phones. I want to go to our friend Trevor from Culver City, who is a registered declined estate, independent, whatever. And he gets mad when I call him a Republican, no matter how many Republican talking points he might share with us. I'm going to go straight to him. And Akili, perhaps he's tired of arguing with me. Maybe you could offer some new insights. Good morning, Trevor.
I hope. Well, I am never tired of talking to you, and I'm never tired of listening to what you have to say. I think it's great about America that you can have two sides of an issue. I think talking through things is much better than fighting through things.
True.
And I think if we have both sides heard on all forms of radio, it would be better off. So I just want to say that, you know, there are situations, and we've seen it on other sides, where guns are drawn on people at very early times in the morning. We had a pastor and his family, his kids, 2, 3, and 7 years old, had the nice little red dot focused on their forehead when the FBI came to arrest him without telling him why he was being arrested, without telling his wife why he was being arrested. and they hauled him off simply because he was sitting outside of an abortion clinic, and he was singing Christian hymns. But even the city where he was at failed to prosecute him for trespassing. But all of a sudden, the FBI showed up without notice at 6 o'clock in the morning.
We're talking about
So
Mark Houck. His name is Mark Houck. He was arrested at his family home, but he was also accused of assaulting an activist, a pro-choice activist. So it wasn't just that he was arrested for sitting there. He allegedly got into an altercation. Go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, right. And in America, we're innocent until proven guilty. I can make allegations against anybody.
Yeah, but you still get arrested. I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty, but you still get arrested and then you await trial. But yeah.
Right. But this conversation so far has been about why are we arresting them at 6 o'clock in the morning? Why are we not being regressive and thinking about what we're doing and when we do it? So I bring that up. But we also have someone in charge right now that has said in the past, it's his quote. He says, they must be taken off the streets. They are predators. Unless we do something about the people, the young cadre of Americans, the people who are, there's thousands of them, and this is his quote, born out of wedlock, without parents. They are predators on our streets, and they need to be taken off the streets.
I mean,
and that's President Joe Biden.
Everyone has parents.
That's Joe Biden.
Anyway, the point is just for context here, Akili, the man who was pushed was a 72-year-old senior. But anyway, so Akili, what would you say to Trevor?
Well, one thing is we have to reimagine, rethink, and reconsider. A lot of what happened and has happened and taken place in the past doesn't mean that it's suitable for today. And what we've done, and particularly from Black people, how we've been treated, how we have been a part of the society, we can't continue that. And we are being killed at an enormous rate by the very police whose salaries we contribute to. And so we have got to reimagine, rethink, and reconsider. We cannot simply say just because the police did it, they're right, and that it's too bad. What happened with Keenan Anderson, what happened with Tyree Nichols, what happened with Takar Smith are examples of the police getting out of hand. What happened with Rodney King is an example of the police being out of hand and using the power that they have with their guns, with their batons and the rest, to subjugate a people, and it has happened regularly.
Right, but what Trevor's trying to say is that it's the same thing coming to the home of Miguel Lopez when the police came to his home at 5:30 in the morning. The sheriffs did not identify themselves, knock on the window, try to cut the locks. He comes with his gun. What Trevor is saying, that's the same as this anti-choice, anti-abortion activist sitting outside of a clinic who pushes an elderly man and then is arrested by the FBI early in the morning. So what he's saying is because they're both early morning arrests, that they're the same, or that they point to a prop. Yeah,
they're false equivalents in my mind. First of all, that the person wasn't killed. He was arrested by the FBI, but he wasn't killed. And which had he been Black, he would have been killed, quite frankly. So it's a false equivalent where you take the early morning and you use that example and you apply it. Well, this happened the early morning there, and this happened the early morning here. No, it's a very different set of circumstances. It's a very different set of conditions, and it's a very different set of outcomes.
Okay, Trevor, I know you got a follow-up. I'm going to let you follow up to the follow-up, and then go ahead. Trevor, you there? I know Trevor's there because he just doesn't fade. All right. Trevor, you still there? Trevor? Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, you got your follow-up. Yeah, now I can. Go ahead.
Okay. I will give you an instance where 5 police officers in downtown Dallas, Texas were assassinated and murdered simply because they were white. and that was by a Black Lives Matter activist, Micah Johnson.
Oh my gosh!
He was camped out. Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! Because you always bring up this story, which is so wrong. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead and this. But no. Yeah, I understand. But listen to me, Trevor. I asked you for a follow-up to the original point that you made. No, this is totally okay. Go ahead. This is a totally different case. You're bringing up a totally different case. You're not following up. But go ahead quickly, because you're bringing up a new topic. So we're going to let Akili respond.
But your guest brought up a new topic as well.
No, he responded to what you were saying.
No. In his response, he brought something up about, well, if you are black, you get killed. Okay? And that's not true, because when you look at the Washington Post database, that proves that is a myth that continues to be talked about.
Okay, now there's a third topic. All right, Trevor, stop veering topics. Finish your point, and then I'll allow a cue, because we've already refuted that. You're talking raw numbers. Of course, we're not going to have more raw numbers. There are fewer black people in the country, but when you go per capita, when you go on a percentage basis, it is far and away black people who are killed. Go ahead.
That is actually not true, and that's been proven not to be true in multiple articles. Has proven
it's math. All you have to do is do the math.
No, it's not. No,
yes,
it's not
actually
true.
It is.
It's been proven. But we look at the origins of Black Lives Matter from Ferguson, Missouri. That police officer by the Justice Department of Barack Obama said nothing transpired like that gentleman said it did. There was no hands up.
Okay, now we're on another topic.
No, it's the same topic. It is. You're saying if you're black, you get killed. That's what your guest said. And I'm trying to refute that. You said I had the opportunity.
All right, got it. Thank you, Trevor. I thought you were going to land on one of the actual stories you were telling, but you're making a general point. So let's have Akili respond to the general point.
Well, and I think the general point is that there are four conditions that black people have to deal with: white supremacy, institutional racism, individual bigotry, and mass denial. And Trevor is a part of the number four, the mass denial. And he's willing to try to support his mass denial with isolated incidences where he can then point to, like he tried to use the police shooting and the police being killed, rather, in Houston. But those are isolated incidences. What happens with black people is that we have regular incidences where we are brutalized and murdered by the police. And we can go back to George Floyd, to Tyree Nichols. We have examples after examples. We can go back to the Red Summer of 1919, or the total destruction of Tulsa, Oklahoma. So there's enough history, there's enough evidence, there's enough things that we can point to about how black people are treated in this society. So I think Trevor, once again, he's an example of those people who, first of all, deny, and then secondly, try to use isolated incidences to say, see, this happened, and it doesn't mean that we're racist. No, it does mean that you're racist.
Well, I mean, and the other thing is that Trevor does, and he does this consistently, that I see the right-wing media do, which is where he's getting these points from, is that they take random people who have crime problems and they label them Black Lives Matter activists when in fact they have no affiliation with Black Lives Matter grassroots or any chapter. They're just anti-racist, or they say something, they've protested before or something, or they have an organization. So they call them Black Lives Matter activists. They're using the term in a very general, misleading way, so that those folks are not actually even part of the organization or chapters or affiliated with what we know of as the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's a way of smearing the movement that really, I just think we cannot tolerate that. We've got to be mindful of that. Continuing our conversation with Akili when we come forward. And yes, we will take your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is growing at a phenomenal pace, and we need to enlarge our territory. We are seeking smart, creative solution providers to join the KBLA delegation and go higher with us. If you or someone you know is interested in joining our team as a brand manager, go to our website at KBLA1580.com. Tap on employment opportunities and let us hear from you. We're not looking for everybody or just anybody, but you could be that special somebody. Come grow with us. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Get ready for an intimate evening with Life Jennings. Valentine's Night, February 14th at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Doors open at 7 p.m., showtime 8. Advance tickets start at $65. Life Jennings and special guests. Valentine's Night at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. For tickets, call 800-595-4849. For more info, call 323-849-9577 or visit jimsbenefitconcert.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 would like to thank all of the businesses that tune into KBLA at work. We celebrate you, your calls to the station, and your overall support. To show our appreciation, we would like to treat your office to lunch for 10, sponsored by John O'Groats family-owned restaurant and johnogroats.us. Open the KBLA Talk 1580 app or log on to KBLA1580.com to submit your office to be selected for our Office of the Week. We know you're just like our staff, putting in many hard, smart working hours per week. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. You and your staff deserve lunch on us. Enter your office to win lunch for 10 and be highlighted on KBLA Talk 1580 as our Office of the Week. Open the KBLA app or log on to KBLA1580.com to enter your office today to become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. Sponsored by John O'Groats family-owned restaurant and johnogroats.us. Become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action. We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking with Florida man, who I didn't know was a Florida man, Akili of BLMLA and Fannie Lou Hamer Institute. And he is, of course, reporting from the commemoration of Trayvon Martin's birthday, the commemoration of him. Which is an annual event. Can't believe it's been 11 years. And I think I meant to say when we were talking about this at the beginning, before we go to more of these calls here, that it seems like Trayvon Martin's parents, Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin, have been very active, that their foundation has been one of the more busy foundations to come from families impacted by violence. I call Zimmerman police violence because he was a self-appointed wannabe cop. But would you say that's right? That their foundation appears to be just involved in a lot of different things and supporting many other families who have been impacted by actual police violence.
Yes, they are very. They have been very active in doing that. They were among the first to do it. And one of the things I want to highlight and lift up, because I didn't get a chance to earlier, the black press, like KBLA, is invaluable to our community. I mean, had the black press not kept this and pushed this and advanced it, we wouldn't even know about Trayvon Martin. So the black press, like KBLA, is invaluable in our community because we have to depend on you to tell our story.
I guess you have to say you have to depend on us because now you're part of the black press. I like it or love it. Yeah. Let's go to Carl calling us from LA. Hi, Carl.
Good morning, Lafayette.
Good morning.
Dominique, I know your guest is very knowledgeable. I just have a question or two. I'm still going through it with Sandra Bland. I mean, wow. All the sisters and brothers that have lost their life through traffic stops, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, it hurts. I mean, I've been twisted up before. It's just a blessing that I'm still here. But anyway, I'd like to know, I caught an article this week about Reggie Jones Sawyer down there in San Diego. Is he still a part of the team, the prayer team for reparations? That's just a question. You might be able to answer in a minute.
I mean,
and I heard
he's on the task force.
Now.
He's on the task force.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that article kind of twisted me around where his vote went another way and the other people's vote went another way. But I just heard your commercial come on about L.A. tenants' call to action, and I was going to ask you if you could get Los Angeles Community Action Network on because there's some people going through some evictions right now, and legal aid is not giving them any assistance. Maybe someone from Los Angeles Community Action Network can come on.
Absolutely. I'm laughing because I'm always trying to get them on, and they're always so busy. But, yeah, we'll get them back in here. Go ahead. Your last one.
Run that commercial again, Los Angeles tennis call to action.
That's actually a public service announcement brought to you by this radio station, and you'll be hearing a lot of it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dominique. Have a good day.
Any quick words for Carl Akili?
Yeah, I think that reaching out to LA Can and the work that Pete White and others are doing can be helpful. And I think the work that the LA Tenants Union to provide a voice for tenants is absolutely and unquestionably necessary.
Yeah. When we come forward, we're going to talk to a couple more of these folks because I think they want to talk to you before we lose you at the top of the hour. Talking with Akili and you, it's KBLA Talk 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. And we don't black down. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yes, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, you wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Are you a business owner, freelancer, or filing taxes for the first time? Are you tired of dodging the IRS? Stop what you're doing now. Mac Tax Solutions, the father and son dynamic duo tax team, is the most sought-out tax business around. Mac Tax Solutions guarantees 100% maximum refund and free consultation. Call now, 562-715-9945. That's 562-715-9945. Or visit MacTaxSolutions.com. IRS or California FTB notices. Free e-file remote tax services with free secure tax dome portal. A $40 gift card will be included when you file. Call now, 562-715-9945. 562-715-9945. Staying on track with all required documents will help you reach your personal and financial goals. Prevent paycheck garnishments. Mac Tax Solutions will even provide all tax programs that your business could be eligible for. Now is the time to make your business work for you. Call now, 562-715-9945. Be sure to download the KBLA app. Tell all your friends and families it's time for a fresh tax start. Call now, 562-715-9945, or visit the website at MacTaxSolutions.com. Call now, 562-715-9945.
We're not ratings driven. We're engagement driven. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Check it out.
Time almost always flies when you're on the radio, and today's no exception. Akili, let's go right to Willie calling us from Palmdale. Hi, Willie.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning to your guests. I have two questions. One is, have you heard of the book?
Willie, you there? Have I heard of, what's the book name again? Sorry.
Rise of the Warrior Cop.
Okay. And
what was the name of the book?
The Rise of the Warrior Cop.
Oh, yes.
And the second question is, what does it mean that the police is not in the Constitution?
I don't, you know what? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I guess maybe if you think of the militias in the Second Amendment, I don't know the answer to that. Do you, Akili?
No. And if you understand that the police are derivative or connected and outgrowth of slave catchers, so that's in large part why they may not be there. And there has been for many years this identity within the police force, the warrior cops, the kick-ass and take-name cops, where they kick in doors and they arrest so-called bad guys, and that's how they get promoted. That's how they get they get advancement. And so it's one of the things that we have struggled against is that whole notion of the warrior cop, particularly when it comes to our community and black people. You can't see us as that we in a war and that you are the chief warrior. That's how we wind up always getting murdered and harmed.
Yeah, those are good points. Willie, I appreciate your food for thought for us this morning, and thank you for the call. Akili, we just got about a minute here. I know you have protests as usual on Wednesday. You want to talk about that or anything else you want to call attention to right now?
Yes, join Black Lives Matter LA every Wednesday at 4 o'clock at 1313 West A Street, where we protest the police associations. We want an end to police association, and we want to ask you to join the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute February 23rd at 6 p.m. for our Black History Month celebration, where we will be recognizing people in the black folks in the community that have contributed to our community and our people, and it'll be by Zoom. And thank you so much for having me on this morning, Dominique.
Thank you. It's always great to talk with you. And if you want to find out about that Zoom link, go to Fannie Lou Hamer Institute on Instagram or follow Akili or Black Lives Matter Grassroots. Yes? BLMLA.
Yes.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
It's KBLA Talk 1580. Let's do this.
See, I don't get a chance to take a picture with you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network.